الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن نبينا وحبيبنا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم وصفيه من خلقه وخليله نشهد بأنه قد بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وجعلها على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. All praises are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank Him for all the blessings that He has and continues to bestow upon us, and especially for the greatest of blessings, and that is the blessing of Hidayah, the blessing of guidance, the blessing of Islam. We bear witness that there is no deity or divinity truly worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we bear witness that indeed our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam is the last of messengers and prophets, chosen and sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to all of mankind, sent as a messenger, as a source of guide and guidance, as a source of mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send His peace and blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, and upon his family, and upon his companions, and upon his followers. And may Allah accept us and guide us to be among those followers. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamualikum Warahmatullah waperrakatuh. It is so common in this day and age, the day and age of technology, of busy lives, of large and long commutes, social media, and so many sources of entertainment, to be so busy. Like we talk to anyone, they tell you I'm busy, and they're not faking it, they're busy. SubhanAllah, you think we have more tools to make life easy, but the reality is we've turned it into more complicated. So now we have less time to see each other, less time to think, less time to plan things, less time to visit people, less time to even get to know each other. You know, now, alhamdulillah, Assalamualikum, how are you, brother? Alhamdulillah, good, see you later. Weeks go by after weeks and years after you look back, subhanAllah, we hear so-and-so passed away. This brother we knew, subhanAllah, or we hear an announcement at the masjid, say so-and-so brother, or so-and-so, or sister, so-and-so passed away. And you know the typical question is, can you remind me who is that brother? And then they show you the pictures. Oh, subhanAllah, yeah, sometimes I used to see him at the Isha prayer. That's him. Oh, I didn't know his name was Saif, or his name is Ahmed, or her name is Aisha, or so. SubhanAllah, it's so common, because our life has turned into a robotic lifestyle. We wake up early in the morning, we make wudu, we pray, maybe get ready, get the kids ready, go to work, drive, come back, routine. And subhanAllah, it goes against the fitrah on which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created mankind, and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had wanted from us Muslims. Allah wanted us to be actually intentional, which is exactly the opposite of robotic. Everything in our life should be intentional. From the minute you wake up in the morning, you have to be intentional to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us another day to worship Him, another day to do good. The way you look at your spouse and say Assalamu alaikum, good morning, or your children, or your neighbor, or you show up to work and talk to your co-workers. And what you do during the day, every minute of it is supposed to be intentional. SubhanAllah, for us, even the most important part of our day, our ibadah, our prayers, our salah that we do to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wallahi sometimes, and you ask, not to put anyone on the spot, but sometimes happens to all of us. You're praying the second or third rak'ah and you forgot, am I in the second or third rak'ah? By the time you ask a person, they finish the prayer and said, do you remember what you recited in the first or second rak'ah with surah? So Allah, I'm not sure exactly. SubhanAllah, why? Because we're doing the prayers, even the prayers that we're supposed to be focused on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are facing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we're seeking His mercy, even that is robotic because we were busy right before the prayer and we are so busy right after the prayer. So we're thinking about what is next. Shaitan comes to distract. And we know from the teachings of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam that everything we do is based on our intention. When he said, alayhi salatu wa salam, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. He said, all deeds are judged by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the basis of their intentions. All deeds. And for every person, what he or she had intended. That's what it is. What's the difference between someone doing gymnastics and someone conducting salah? What is it? The niyyah. That's it, the niyyah, the intention. What is the niyyah? What is the difference between someone who forgot to eat in the morning, or didn't find food in the morning, or maybe is participating in a hunger strike, and someone who is fasting in Ramadan or one of the nawafil? What is the difference? Both are without food, both are without drink. Niyyah. The niyyah makes it an act of worship, subhanAllah. The niyyah makes it an act where you get that reward. And subhanAllah, even the mubah, the things that are permissible, that is not required, can become an act of worship with the right niyyah. SubhanAllah, if your goal is to get some sleep for the sake of waking up early in the morning and making it for Fajr and having the energy to take care of your family, that becomes an act of sleeping, becomes an act of worship, subhanAllah. Ibadah, sleeping with the right niyyah becomes an act of it. Joking and playing with your children, if your intention is to get closer to them and making sure they love you and love Islam more and so on, if that is your intention, playing with your children is an act of ibadah, subhanAllah. If even eating, everything we do with the right intention becomes an act of ibadah, subhanAllah. So our deen is a deen of intentions. Our deen requires from us to have an intention, and that intention goes beyond us. It's an intention about me getting closer to my Lord, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, getting my family closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bringing goodness. Some of our scholars said the ultimate goal of Islam is to bring happiness to people. SubhanAllah, you think, how is that? So how could there be happiness without knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So that's the goal. How can you have happiness in the akhirah without people knowing who their creator is? How can they be happy without knowing who is taking care of them? How can? So subhanAllah, it is true. It makes sense when you think about happiness in the ultimate way, not happiness as equivalent to joy, as sometimes we kind of think instantaneous joy. The real happiness is that. So in order to get to there, we must have that intention. Be intentional in every act of our life, in our worship. Just remember, clear everything on your mind. When you're standing up in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bring istahbar al-niyyah, as the scholars say. Bring that purity and intention. Say, oh Allah, I'm standing in front of you now, under your mercy. Oh Allah, accept my prayers. Oh Allah, grant me the reward of this prayer. Oh Allah, with that prayer, protect me from and shield me from the evil within myself and outside. And after the prayer, we make istighfar for the few moments that we might have been distracted. SubhanAllah, when you do that, you get certain joy and happiness you never thought about. In your relationships with people, who do you choose as your friend? If your friend gets you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's the friend you want to keep, protect, get closer to. If that friend distracts you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's a friend you want to either try to advise, and if they don't change, you want to move out quickly. The reality is a friend either pulls you up or down. You have to choose. Look at your friends. Come up with the list of your friends. They either push you up or pull you down. You can easily recognize that. And the more you spend with people who pull you down, they will pull you down. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-mar'u ala dini khalil." Al-mar'u ala dini khalil. Every person is going to be, his religion or his way of life going to be impacted by his close friends. You can't say, "Well, I'm so strong." No, you're not. If you're at a gathering and it's time for Maghrib, and your friends are not the type who care about the prayer, they're going to distract you from the prayer. It's time to pray. It's still time. What's the rush? Alhamdulillah, there is rukhsa. You can pray later on. And anyway, well, it's prayerless for you, subhanAllah. Or as opposed to being with a friend who says, "Oh, subhanAllah, Maghrib, let's pray." Look at the difference. One led you to Jannah, and the other one, wa'iyadu billah. So, even how you pick your friends makes a difference. Your relationships, how intentional are we with our family? You know, we all say, we want our children to be, mashallah, good Muslims, good citizens. What are we doing to do that? Are we just making dua, which is good, but it's not enough? Allah wants you to do dua and action. You want your children to be, mashallah, proud Muslims? Are we showing them a good example of Islam in our life? Do we go and do we show them a different example in our life? Do we cheat? Are we crooks? Do we stand for injustice? Are we hypocrites in our side? And they'll say, "Ya Ibni, my son, don't lie." And then they see me lying day in, day out. "My son, don't forget to pray." But they see me missing on the prayers. "My son, treat your friends and your parents with respect." But they see me disrespecting my parents, their grandparents. It can't be. You know what? Examples can teach way more than words. Actually, most of what we learned from Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala wasallam was through his actions. Because his actions matched what he taught. So that's why we repeat his teaching. Because he lived it. Imagine if someone repeats things and they're not living it. Imagine if I tell you something and I live my life in a different way. How can you listen? Not only you don't listen, but actually it backfires. And that's what we see with some young Muslims nowadays. They say, we hear Islam says that, but we see Muslim leaders do something else. Whether it's political leaders who engage in murder and killing of their citizens, of Muslims, or sometimes so-called religious leaders who rather stand for these corrupt tyrants who go and say, and that creates confusion for young people. So by example makes a difference. What you spend, how you spend it. You know, there's a beautiful hadith of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam in which he says, لا تزول قدماء عبد يوم القيامة حتى يسأل عن أربع عن ماله من أين اكتسبه وفيما أنفقه وعن علمه ما ضيع منه وعن شبابه فيما أبلاه وعن عمره فيما أفناه. He said, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, and pay attention to this hadith. He said, there wouldn't come on the day of judgment, no one would be allowed to move from their place, whether taken to Jannah or taken to Nar or Ayad billah. No one would be allowed to move on the day of judgment until they're asked about four things. Every person would be asked about four things. What are they? Ya Rasulullah. He said, first, your money, your income. How did you spend it? How did you earn it? And how did you spend it? Because some people work so hard to earn it halal but spend it haram. And some people the other way around. They say they earn it haram, but they, mashallah, they're very careful now. They want to pay their zakat. But subhanallah, you earn it haram. Both ways. The income and the expenses are important. And you and I will each be asked about them. What am I feeding my children? What is my intention? Be intentional. Don't say, oh, alhamdulillah, Allah has a rizq. Allah sends the rizq. Well, Allah says, you seek halal. And then count on Allah to send it for yourself. But if you're not seeking halal, if I'm not seeking halal, why am I blaming Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for my bad choices? Well, Allah is the result. Of course Allah is the result. But Allah gave you the choice to choose. So your income is an intention you made. Are you willing to sacrifice some luxuries in order to make sure that your income is halal? Am I willing to sacrifice some luxuries to make sure that my spending is in the ways that please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? On everything, what I bring home, which businesses do I support? Am I supporting maybe small family-owned businesses struggling to keep themselves supported, especially within our struggling Muslim community? Or when you have the ability to go and support a struggling Muslim family with their small restaurant, or any store, grocery place, or go to any corporation. Again, this is not about boycotting others, it's about supporting your own community. There's nothing wrong with that. Ensuring that our families have what it takes to take care of themselves and their children. Then they have money to support your masjid and our organizations and our communities. These small choices make a lot of difference. Don't think, hey, I don't count. You do count. Where you spend your vacation makes a difference. Where you spend your vacation makes a lot of difference. I hear people saying, Allah, mashallah, we're traveling to France or Switzerland or Russia. These are countries that are engaged, as we speak now, in murdering or at least discriminating and harassing your Muslim sisters and brothers. No, don't choose. Even your vacation, even your tourism money should be chosen to where it helps communities that are helping your ummah, helping their people. They're not engaging in harming and committing injustice. Go to Turkey, go to Malaysia, go to Pakistan, I can list a dozen countries that would actually, when they receive your money, will actually help people who are in need. Don't go and tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I see people saying, do you know France, how much France harasses Muslims with their laws? I'm not talking about French people, the government, sisters in hijab, how much hardship they face. Switzerland that keeps passing laws banning the minarets, banning adhan, banning hijab. Every once in a while you hear this. Why would I go and spend my money there? They tell Allah, mashallah, brother, they have the Alps there. Well, who needs the Alps? Go watch it on the internet. You can get more beautiful mountains. Wallah, I've seen pictures of more beautiful mountains in Pakistan. Why do you need to? The list is long. You can go to a dozen other countries where you can enjoy the beauty of the scenery, the beauty of food, culture, etc. Choosing. Why? Because your purchasing power is a political power in itself. Do you know that? When Congress met for the first time in 2019, do you know what was the first bill that was introduced by some of our members of Congress? The very first bill put to vote in Congress, it was a bill to criminalize BDS, or those who participate in the boycott or divestment against the State of Israel. This was what they were pushing for, because they understand the power of boycott. Economic boycotts can actually teach us, and it's sometimes even stronger than political power. And they have managed over the years to make Muslims feel helpless or worthless. You're 2 billion people in the world. If every day each one of us wants to drink a bottle of water, how much does this cost? About $1? 2 billion Muslims drinking a bottle of water every day. How much is that? $2 billion every single day. If I know this company, and I'm not saying it is, if I know this company engages in mistreating its employees or the people of a certain country, and another country doesn't, just neutral, which one do I go to? Which one do I give them the $2 billion? Of course, the choice is easy. Don't think you're helpless as a Muslim. You have to choose. Well, I go with my family to a supermarket, and I look, and if I find something made in Israel, I make a choice. I'm not going to support an occupation. I'm not going to support. For pickles, for beans, we can make choices. When you know certain countries are engaged in oppression and repression, you have to take a stance. We have enough miseries to look around the world to know that something is needed from our ummah. The ummah has not seen such level of ethnic cleansing and genocide as it has been seen in the last couple of years. 2 million Muslims in China, Uyghur Muslims, are placed in concentration camps. 2 million, not 1 million. 2 million now is confirmed. About a million Rohingya Muslims have been ethnically cleansed from their homeland, from Burma. 1 million. And we're not even counting what has been happening in Palestine, in Kashmir, in Syria. Mass murder, rape, killing, in front of the whole world, so that's not secret. CNN is covering it, social media is covering it. And if we, the Ummah of 2 billion people, cannot act in a way that makes us feel part of something that makes a difference, then there is a challenge, my dear brothers and sisters. Your money is important. Your knowledge, what knowledge do I get, and how do I use this knowledge? SubhanAllah, now we hear people seeking, SubhanAllah, there are people who don't care about knowledge to begin with, which is a big problem. And now we have people who care about knowledge, but for the sake of collecting knowledge, it's like collecting stamps. MashaAllah, I read book, knowledge without action. Knowledge, we used to hear that the Sahaba would learn a verse and stop until they practice it. And then they learn the next one. MashaAllah, now we learn about books and knowledge and fiqh books and hadith, but we don't implement. We think seeking knowledge is the goal by itself, forgetting that seeking knowledge is a means. It's a means to something. It should change you. It should get you to action. That knowledge is a knowledge that is, that's why Allah would ask you about this knowledge. What did you do with this knowledge? It is not enough to tell me I memorized and I read, it's how you used and implemented this knowledge in making a difference in your life, your family's life, your community's life, and the Ummah's life. Your youth and your age will be asked about it. We have a time when we have that energy, my dear brothers and sisters. We have that energy and this time, which is one of the most precious resources to make a difference. Once you reach a certain age, maybe sickness, maybe old age will prevent you from being able to make a difference. Now you have the time to organize. Organize politically, socially, economically. Be part of something. If I ask anybody, how many of us are upset about what we're seeing around the world in terms of the injustices? Whether it's in our country, at the border, where families are being separated, right at the border, children are being taken away, in the name of protecting us. No, nobody is feeling threatened by these children, other than xenophobes and racist people. We're not afraid, just because they're brown people. Nobody talks about Europeans who overstay their visa, of course. That's never a problem, subhanAllah. Or the mistreatment, using our tax money of people in Palestine, people in Egypt, where a country is executing some of its brightest young people in Egypt, under false pretexts, under torture. SubhanAllah. We're watching young, active, bright Muslims being slaughtered, raped, killed all over the world, and we're sometimes puzzled what to do. If there's one place on earth where we can do something about it, it's here in America. We have the freedom, the ability to organize, to build our masajid, seek our knowledge. MashaAllah, every time I come in, I see the roads growing. Now you're praying outside, pretty much. I heard from Brother Ahmed, you're praying even on the side. Alhamdulillah, that's a good sign. No one comes and tells you why you're doing that. In France, they might shut down this masjid. They say, well, you know what, you're disturbing the peace by having people pray outside. In almost all the Muslim majority countries, this khutbah will land me in prison, and probably all of you for listening to me. This is the truth. This is the truth, my dear brothers and sisters. In America, we have the freedom to organize, to speak up our mind, to speak up against injustice. But that requires also, there's a price for that in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is to show shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to act upon it with responsibility, intentions. It's about being intentionally Muslim. You're not a Muslim by accident. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not randomly, and there's nothing that Allah does that is random. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make you Muslim randomly. Allah chose you out of billions and billions of people to be who you are, with the hidayah that you have, the access of knowledge, the access to knowledge, the access to resources. What you do with it now is your choice, my choice. Be part of that organizing. Be intentionally part of the Ummah. What does it mean? Ask yourself. What does it mean that I'm part of the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala wa sallam? What does it mean that on the day of judgment I'm going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I'm seeking the presence and being with the company of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala wa sallam? Well, I'm going to stand with him and he will say, and he will ask me, our beloved Prophet, what did you do for being part of the Ummah? Other than say, I belong to the Ummah. That's a claim everybody can make. Only by being intentional we can show that. By caring, by organizing. So I call upon my dear brothers and sisters. We saw the last couple of weeks how even Muslim members of Congress who dare to talk about politics, Sister Ilham Umar and Sister Rashida Clay, two new Muslim women members of Congress, the first two Muslim women in Congress, for daring to speak on behalf of the rights of the Palestinians. You know, all the hate was unleashed on them, calling them anti-Semite, calling them bigots. Well, all they did was criticizing a political policy, entity. Nothing about religion. They were definitely nothing close to being anti-Semitic or anything. But where is the voice of 6 million American Muslims? I heard from every other community. I can tell you the Jewish community was amazing in responding and defending. They launched the campaign, I Stand with Ilham. MashaAllah. Progressive Christians did that. Leftists, liberals, progressives. The voice that was for the most part absent and watching as if they're watching a soccer game was the Muslim community. We're watching, cheering from a distance, subhanAllah. That's not how we make a difference. We organize politically. Join activism, join organizations that exist today. The way you belong is by stepping a little bit outside from the spectator seat. Say, okay, I'm going to be part of the change. I'm going to be joining organizations. I ask you, my dear brothers and sisters, to reflect on what it means to be an American Muslim, to what it means to be a Muslim, to what it means to be part of the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala sallam, and what can I do to make a difference here and abroad. The affairs of my brothers and sisters anywhere in the world, from Libya to Somalia to Indonesia to Malaysia to Burma to Kashmir, are my affairs. Right? The Muslims, the believers are brothers. إنما المؤمنون إخوة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the believers are brothers to one another. So I urge you, inshallah, to join the efforts of your masjid. Make sure you're part of leaving that legacy of the masjid behind you. So when you stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, join the organized political effort in our country by joining organizations such as CARE. CARE cannot go strong politically until we as Muslims, as a community, feel I'm part of that effort. I urge you to become members. And we're visiting masajid around the country to make sure that every Muslim becomes a member. You don't have to agree with everything here, or your masjid, or this does, but you have to agree that you belong to that effort. Alhamdulillah, by being part of it, getting news on how can I be activated, how can I make a difference in politics, how can my votes and my voice make a difference. Inshallah, after the prayers, I hope you pick up a form and you become a member. I'm hoping that from this masjid, we get at least 10 members. I'm really hoping that at least from this masjid, to show that, alhamdulillah, we are part of this effort. When I say actually, all of us should be a member of our masjid, a member of our schools, a member of the MSAs for those who are students, a member of CARE for all of us who are here. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the wisdom, the courage to do what is right. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our shortcomings. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه فلا فوز المستغفرين. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Inshallah, we'll conclude by reminding everyone, inshallah, knowledge is key, and to be knowledgeable, you have to be part of the circle, part of the organization, so they can give you the information, so you can act. Because I hear from people saying, I don't know what to do. Well, unless you're part of a network, you wouldn't know what to do. That's right. But your first step is being part of that network. Inshallah, may Allah use us, especially in a place where we have the freedom to do that. May Allah use us to bring justice, here and abroad. May Allah use us to stand against oppression, here and abroad. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use us to serve His deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use us to uplift the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring us up to the honorable level, where we can truly call ourselves part of the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's not a title, it's a task, it's a responsibility, it's an aman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us live up to the amana of being part of the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. May Allah plant the love of Muhammad in our heart and in our action. May Allah plant in our heart the love of the Ummah of Muhammad, no matter what race they are, no matter what language they speak, no matter what geography they live in, no matter how tall, short, dark, light-skinned, no matter who they are. May Allah make us love them as our true brothers and sisters. عباد الله إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد كما صليت وسلمت وباركت على سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معصيتك، ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك، ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا. اللهم متعنا بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا وذرياتنا أبدا ما أحييتنا، واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا. اللهم لا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك فينا ولا يرحمنا. اللهم نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل، ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل. اللهم نسألك أن ترفع البلاء عن إخواننا المستضعفين في كل مكان وتنصرهم يا أكرم الأكرمين. ونخص بالذكر إخواننا في فلسطين، وإخواننا في سوريا، وفي العراق، وفي اليمن، وفي تونس، وفي مصر. اللهم كن مع إخواننا في الصومال وفي السودان وفي الجزائر. اللهم كن مع إخواننا في باكستان وأفغانستان وبنغلاديش والهند وكشمير. اللهم كن مع إخواننا في بورما وفي الصين. اللهم كن مع إخواننا حيث كانوا. اللهم عليك بالظالمين. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأقم الصلاة.